And boom, we're live. We're here with Liam Pringle. Thank you, Liam. Appreciate the time. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. I
So,
appreciate it.
no problem, man. I really like the stuff that you're doing. So, it was it's a versatile of different movies and content, and it was documentaries. And one I came across was it was the different documentaries that would change your outlook, and it was like it had to do with Scientology, and then there was one other one, and it was really cool. And I like the list structure that you do too because it's so absorbable. It's really quick, and it's not just like it's not like just bubblegum choices of like, check out Shawshank or check out other things. It's like
Right.
actual, like there's utility in it, and it's really cool.
Thank you. That's exactly what I'm going for with them. It's kind of funny how it started out. I downloaded TikTok when it was first starting to be big, and I had no idea what to do with it, but I knew that it was growing really, really fast, and I wanted to be a part of it. So it was kind of a learning curve where I was trying out different stuff. I tried like the skit type of like comedy bits. I tried just like hopping on different trends and stuff like that. But I think with TikTok and with a lot of people out there too, kind of like it has to be something personal to you, something that you really care about. And I always loved movies and documentaries. So I wanted to give a mix of, movies that are a little bit more approachable, as well as movies that I think people haven't seen or that are going to kind of push people's boundaries a bit. So try and keep it like that. And then, of course, TikTok's so short with the attention span that you got to kind of hammer it out. So the economy of words is super important. And that was a learning curve, too. Like some of mine would get, especially when I was first starting, like no views. And I think it was mostly just because I would take too long to get to the point or try and speak too much to one subject without giving people enough bite-sized pieces of information.
Yeah. So they are punchy. Yeah. It's like bang, 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 bang. Yeah. And how long have you been doing it for?
So it's kind of funny how quickly the growth happened. I downloaded the app, I don't know, earlier in the winter, but I never really gave it a solid try until the quarantine end of March, pretty much. And it was kind of stupid. I just made a really short video about Carol Baskin from Tiger King, and it got, I think, like 20,000 views or something, which I was like, I thought that was really cool at the time because I had never had any of the videos like get any kind of views. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll try around for that. And then it was as soon as April hit where I started being like, okay, I'm going to try dropping one every day. Like at that time, I was still laid off from my day job. So I had just unlimited time to kind of go all in on it. And just went in, started making videos. So it's about 2 months only. So still learning every day from it and trying to think of different types of content that people are going to be down with.
Yeah. Well, it's really dope, and I really like what you're doing. And so there's several different videos and several different types of content. And so what do you gravitate towards most when you watch like movies, documentaries, series? What do you gravitate towards?
Yeah, I'm kind of all over the map. I think that's what gives me a decent perspective as a content creator. Is my preferences change so much day to day that some days I might want to jump into movies that are going to make you cry, movies that are like super emotional. Some days I'll go into movies that focus on like specific topics. Like I'll get kind of stuck in cycles of different movies. Like if I see one that I really like a movie about drug addiction, for example, then I'll watch like a bunch of movies kind of around that. And just I kind of pull from a lot of different content that I've seen since I was a little kid. Things that I remember. It's like, oh yeah, that movie, and go back to it. So, but for documentaries, like I love stuff that's kind of on the edge a bit more. I like stuff that's looking at people kind of on the fringes of society. I love a good cringy documentary. I'm gonna go into it. Wonderful Whites of West Virginia, of course, is a good one that I didn't have in that one, but just like crazy docs like that. Yeah.
Wonderful Whites. I've never seen that one.
Oh, you got to check it out. It's just it's about this family in West Virginia that basically are just complete chaos. They're all doing drugs. They're all kind of your typical. I don't want to say trailer trash is kind of a bad term for it, but that's basically what they are. And docs like that. But I don't know. Over the years, I've had a few in particular. There's one banging in Little Rock that came out in the '90s, and it's just about these kids getting involved in the gang life in Little Rock in the States. And it just sucked me in, and I was just obsessed with the documentary and then kept going from there.
Wow. Okay, cool. Damn, I've never seen either of those. I'll check both of those out. That's dope. And it's Little Rock.
Yeah, for sure. Got to add it to, there's so many, man. That's another thing too. One once I started going into making videos a little bit more, I would look up one movie and then I'd be like, oh yeah, like, and then 5 other movies. So I got this big master list of different movies and documentaries that I want to work in somehow, that I just feel like I should tell people about, but it keeps growing all the time. And then the comments, for the most part, I mean, obviously, as you know, as a content creator yourself, not all comments are great, but you get tons of amazing inspiration from your followers too. And so people will send me, oh, you got to watch this or you got to watch that. And I'll look it up on Google, and then I'll be like, oh, I really do have to watch that. And so the list keeps growing.
So when you do compile a list like that and they're all together, do you have them on an actual list, and then do you try and draw parallels and you're like, okay, these kind of connect, I can kind of make a piece around these, or how do you go about creating a piece of content like that with lists?
Yeah, so the list is pretty much random of just different stuff different movies, different docs that I like. Where I start to group them together is through the title, because I noticed probably about a month ago that the title just has the biggest pretty much impact on it. Like if you don't get people right away, that's why sometimes I go like a little bit extreme with the titles, like using words like shocking or traumatizing or movies that will stress you out, that kind of thing, just because it pulls people in a bit more. So I'll come up with the title and then try and fit stuff around there, stuff that I like from earlier, and try and work it in that way.
One of the craziest documentaries that you referenced was Going Clear. That I had watched that probably 6 times. It is one of the craziest documentaries I've ever seen. Every time I tell people to watch it, dude, and it's just mind blowing at the Scientology and the litigation and all kinds of stuff that they go through. And have you ever seen any of the buildings that they have, like their headquarters?
Not in person, just through Google. I want to see them though, man. I'm like same boat as you, man. That the Scientology just blows my mind. That's why I brought in that Going Clear and my Scientology movie from Louis Theroux, and those two both. I mean, also through the Joe Rogan podcast with the leader of Scientology. I can't remember his dad, the dad of the leader of Scientology. He came on. I'm not sure if you saw that one, but just a crazy world. So documentaries are awesome like that. They can just kind of shine a light on stuff that's going on kind of right in front of us, but might not be as approachable.
Dude, I recently saw the headquarters in Clearwater in Florida, and it is one of the most beautiful buildings in the world. Like, it's the coolest building, like, in the area too. And it's just like, and then you get to see the Sea Org people in suits walking around by it, like just going to do whatever you want. It's pretty eerie, and just kind of like, it feels like you're not supposed to be there. It's really weird, but you can drive right by. I
got to add that to my list of places to go.
That place is beautiful.
As a Scientology enthusiast.
Yeah.
That would be crazy to see, and awesome people watching too, it sounds like.
Oh yeah. And Clearwater's beautiful too. There's just a cool atmosphere there too. So you don't have to do that just specifically. It's cool.
It's got stuff to do.
Yeah.
That's
There's
awesome.
a bunch. Yeah, I recently went. It was cool. I also just went to Disney World before the whole pandemic. What were you doing before the pandemic, and has stuff changed like since you've been quarantined?
It was crazy how fast it went. So I live downtown Toronto, so I'm right in the heart of it with like just busy, packed people, typical weekend, always going out to like a crowded club, that type of deal. I'm actually a wine salesman, so I work with restaurants and hotels. So that was kind of a bummer for that. We saw the shutdown. It was like March 17th or something. It was right on St. Paddy's Day, I think, here. So I'd gone out that last weekend and was at like a busy bar, and already then people were being weird. It was like this mix of people not really knowing if they should be safe or if they're trying to soak up the last bit of weekend before things. But I never in a million years. I was that ignorant kind of douchebag that was like, oh no, we have nothing to worry about. I think it's going to be over soon. And I was quickly proven wrong. So,
dude,
yeah, I was just, yeah, sorry, go on.
No, go ahead. You're good.
Oh yeah, just saying, it was just a big shift. So
yeah,
I was laid off pretty early in on it. I got unlaid off recently now. The government assistant here has basically made it so you can still get paid through the job, but it's been slow still. It'll be a while before I'm going to do the same kind of business with restaurants, hotels, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, everything seems like it's just going to become clunky and just slowly catch momentum again. And I don't know when the next time I'll go to a movie theater. I don't know. Like, I'm not too concerned about it, but like closed spaces, they say are one of like the worst places. So I was just curious.
Yeah, definitely.
Like when will be the next time you check out a public setting like a theater,
I don't know. So the big thing too that I'm wondering about, I had this really awesome opportunity last year. I got to go to the TIFF, the Toronto International Film Festival premiere for Uncut Gems,
Oh,
back in the fall, and that was nuts. I got to
dude.
see Adam Sandler. Like my friend got me, and she had the connection. It wasn't me at all, and she just knew I love movies, so she took me, and it blew my mind. And now I'm hoping like maybe I can somehow weasel my way into another premiere, but who knows what it's going to be like in September in Toronto. But that's one big thing that I'm wondering about in terms of sittings, but because that was crazy last year, so
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes. But I don't think it's going to be anything like the same. And TIFF's like a huge deal in the city, so.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I feel like every event that's going to occur the first time, it's going to just be uncomfortable, So it's like better to either take a gap and just kind of pass on it or what. But that's an amazing friend, dude. Like that is amazing.
Oh yeah, it was totally unexpected too. I was taking a night course, and luckily it ended right before the premiere started. So I was sitting in class, and then she texted me. She was like, "Hey, I got an extra ticket to go see this movie, Uncut Gems." I'm like, "What's Uncut Gems?" Right? Like I had no idea. I googled it, and I'm like, "Oh, it's like a Adam Sandler movie." I just thought it was going to be kind of a regular which I was down with still. And I was like, probably Adam Sandler won't be there or anything. And then luckily I made it there just as the premiere started from my class. I came with my book bag and everything. And we got to sit there and see the Safdie brothers come out, and then Adam and the rest of the crew. I think her name's Alex Rose, or the female lead in Uncut Gems, but got a new crush on her. I think we got to watch out. She was just she was there, and she was stunning too. So
Dude.
I was like blown away on all fronts.
Yeah. I had just recently seen Uncut Gems. I didn't see it in the theater, so I had just watched it when it debuted on Netflix, and it was the shit. It was so fun. I was blown away at how first Adam Sandler was amazing, and then it's I googled her, so it's Julia Fox. I don't know if that's the
Julia Fox. Why did I mix it up, Alex? I was glad you looked it up though, because it was gonna keep going in circles in my head until we got it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Julia
She's
Fox.
stunning.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was amazing, and just the entire I was blown away at Adam Sandler's performance, man. It was nothing like I'd ever seen. He had one where it was Bulletproof, which was kind of serious, but it was still the Wayne's brother, and it was still not as serious. And Click was it had at least a message, but it wasn't Jack and Jill. Let's put it that way.
No. And you know what, Adam Sandler, he does great fun movies, right? Like there's nothing wrong with Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, all that stuff. But yeah, when I saw Uncut Gems, I was locked in from the start. So I'm actually adding that one into a TikTok soon about movies that'll stress you out. Because man, when I was sitting through that movie, his life is just such a mess that you can't help but completely buy into the character.
Yeah.
So that was really cool.
Yeah, and so it starts off very jarring. I don't know if you've seen it recently, but I just watched it, so it's still fresh. And it's just it starts off, everybody's talking over each other. It's all loud in New York, and it's in a closed setting too, in a jewelry store, and there's other customers. It's really, really shaky, and really, I've never had it that much tension off the get-go. It's very, very intense.
Oh yeah.
It was cool.
When Cameron Garnett put his arms on the glass, oh, that was nuts.
Yeah.
I was like,
so
okay,
good.
wait for one. This is different. This is different than I thought it would be.
Yeah, he did so good. He was so good in that movie. Do you think it's hard to be an actor because, sometimes people are go from being a basketball player and then they win an Oscar? Do you think it's really hard, or do you think it's just somewhat hard?
I think part of it definitely has to do with just your natural personality. I think the hard part would be anybody can feel something, but it's hard to present it in the right way where it can be picked up kind of I feel like it would be hard to make it translate into film, kind of what you're doing, because you're not in person. So it's such a different level of it. I don't have any experience acting, so I can't speak to it too much, but it's got to be hard, especially sometimes when they're going into kind of characters that are really complex and have to kind of encompass all of the different dimensions of their character's personality. That's got to be challenging. And taking a million takes.
Yeah.
I mean, even from just doing the TikTok, sometimes I'm just trying to say one thing about a movie and I got to redo it over and over again because I just keep little mess ups here or there. And they got to do it with a crew of people watching and another actor waiting to make sure that they hit the line perfect and stuff. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I think there's a misunderstanding with somewhat monotonous of the takes, and then you have to create something kind of real in that moment. Just when you're you come out of the trailer, you make it or whatever you're reading, and then you come on scene and you just got to pull something out. You got to be ready, and you got to pull out emotion. So that it does seem
That's
challenging.
the magic of it, I guess.
Yeah, that's a weird thing too, where there's like the medium of the action movie. If you watch an action movie get made, it's super boring for the most part the entire time. Like it's just like takes 8 months and then there's special effects. But then this weird piece of hour 45 minutes, it's just like action packed. It's really cool how they like just put it together. You know?
Yeah, I would love to be present on like a major movie set and just see all the inner workings of what's going on, because it's got to be crazy. And I did some research I was trying to find crazy stories of stuff that happened on movie sets, and there was a bunch of stuff that I didn't add in just because I didn't think it would be as attention grabbing. But they're madness on there sometimes, and you got directors screaming at everybody, going crazy. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the documentary about the filming for the movie Apocalypse Now. It's like Heart of Darkness, I think. But that movie was a mess. They were out in the jungle shooting for like 15 months or something. A bunch of the crew got sick. Sheen almost died or something like that. But it would be crazy. But at the end, it's a labor of love, I guess, for the people involved, and the end result's got to be pretty cool when you see how it all comes together.
Yeah. Not Martin Sheen. Charlie Sheen's crazy. Where I think it was it Breakfast Club, where he stayed up 48 hours beforehand, and like he was trying to emulate what a druggie looked like, and he was just like insomnia. It's just pure insomnia right there.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off, right in the police station.
That's right.
That's
not
the
Breakfast Club.
Another John Hughes movie. It's easy to skip those around. But yeah, he the process of buying in, or you can go to movies like The Machinist, where Christian Bale had to lose like a ton of weight to just completely conform to the role. That would be crazy too. Or even the characters that have to get ripped and jacked for the film, like they get a pretty short window. I mean, there's got to be a lot of I would assume a lot of steroids going on. I don't know, like throw accusation, but like there's no way you could get that jacked and ripped in like a 5-month span for a movie.
No,
because some of them, but that's got to be just exhausting nonetheless, even with performance and top training. So, I mean, that would be a serious part of the job, just the transformation that some of them have to make.
Yeah. So it's got to be prominent. I mean, you get a multi-million-dollar paycheck. You have to look good. It is your job to look good. It probably alleviates a little bit of pressure and recovery time. Like, it's got to help. It's got to be a little bit prominent. Especially some of the guys are like, we're all pretending like Dwayne Johnson isn't almost 50 years old and looks incredible. Like, it's got to be something.
Yeah. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, right? I mean, they are going through it. They're professionals. They're having doctors monitor them the whole way.
Yeah.
But, there's got to be some help going on for some of them, because that would just be pretty much impossible. But who knows? I don't know about it fully. One
of the most iconic physiques that I really liked was Daniel Craig, James Bond, Casino Royale. It was the shit, dude. It was just like, oh, that's like the best physique you could possibly attain. I don't like The Rock. I just got a couple opinions about him, but that's an iconic James Bond physique. It just looks awesome.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't mind taking that body over.
Yeah.
Jack, but they they're part athlete, part performer. They gotta wear a lot of hats for those films, especially, there's a lot of pressure on them too. That would be tough too. Like thinking about even movies like Titanic, when you got I can't remember how young he was when they were filming that, but can you imagine having the most expensive movie being made at the time all rested on your shoulders? Like, they must have been watching him everywhere, because he was a young guy, right? Like, who knows if he's going to go out and have a rough night or something's going to happen, but so much money invested into them, and they got to come out and perform.
Yeah. That was like it had the most revenue until Avatar. Was it Avatar beat it? And then what beat Avatar? Infinity War or something? I think it goes those three.
Yeah, I think some of I know the big Marvel movies do crazy numbers.
There's this new, it's actually like an attraction, I think, at Disneyland. So they're going to have Spider-Man in the Marvel setup. It's just like a section of the theme park. And they're going to have Spider-Man fly throughout the places and do acrobatic stuff. But it's like a robot. So you can like get a picture of him, but he's through like midair throughout the town. Like this fake town. That's
pretty crazy.
It's dope,
they're doing some really wild stuff with the rides there. Anyways, there's like a Star Wars VR ride or something like that too.
Yeah, so I rode that. It was dope. Yeah. The second time is not good. It's the element of surprise, but like the first time it was awesome. But the rest of the time it was just like, it was pretty blasé.
Fair enough. Good to hear an honest opinion.
I mean, dude. Yeah, the first one was awesome, but yeah. I'm really looking forward to No Time to Die. I'm a huge James Bond fan, like huge, and so it sucked when that got pushed back.
Yeah, a ton of. It is a huge bomb. I'm wondering how long the gap in content is going to last. So there's some huge movies that were coming out. That one, of course, as well. That I guess just going to have to be patient on.
Yeah,
But at least they didn't, for their sake. At least imagine if you released it, you were kind of hopeful that things would go okay, and then all of a sudden, 2 months into your release or whatever, it's just shut completely, or even a month in.
yeah.
So,
I think one of the
I don't
biggest
know.
blockbusters that'll come out that it's Christopher Nolan. He loves this weekend that Tenet's coming out. Like he's debuted, I think Dunkirk this weekend. He debuts all of his movies on this summer weekend of like I think it's like July 8th or July 9th or whatever. But so I think that'll be the first one, and it looks so dope. And you're saying they do crazy stuff on set. Well, he actually got a 747 on set, and I believe blew it up.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and it's
That must have been expensive.
yeah, dude. So
That'd be cool to see.
I was doing a podcast with Paul Tweedle. He does heavy spoilers on YouTube, and he was talking about he had an inside tip of somebody who worked at TSA, one of his friends, and they saw or heard that Christopher Nolan was on scene, and then I believe it's gonna be. Have you seen the Tenet trailer?
I haven't.
Dude, you gotta check it out. You're gonna love
Add
it.
in. I'll put it on my list right after.
Dude, it's dope. It has to do with time. So it's reversal time. So I think they're gonna explode this 747, but then reverse it and put it in reverse.
Damn.
Yeah.
It is crazy to see what they can do now. Like especially so even in just the last 2 years, I feel like the jump's been just giant. Like so, that's cool to see. Yeah, but again, it goes back to your earlier question. I wonder how long it's going to be till that could actually see like a major theatrical release,
Yeah.
like it would before.
Oh yeah. Like
How are they
turn
going to
out-
release it? Like how are they going to? Is it just going to be through different streaming sites, or it can't be because they'll make way less money. I
No.
assume.
What during the pandemic, I think they should have released Mulan. I think Disney would have pulled a whole host of people to the streaming service that way. And the Marvel movie Black Widow, I think if they would have released those two like second week of pandemic, dude, so many people would have jumped on. But I don't know, just because everything's opening up and I think it's going to be open in IMAX, like I just don't know if they'll get a good turnout if that's the problem.
Right, or if they have to do like half capacity type of stuff.
Yeah. It's been weird. It's been really weird.
Yeah, definitely. But those are cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to actually things getting back to that with stuff being released. But I think it's going to be pushed back for a little bit further now. So we'll
Yeah.
see.
Have you seen any of the new Batman stuff? So they started filming on Batman on the studio again with Robert Pattinson.
I haven't. I'm not as huge superhero,
Oh, okay.
but I didn't know Robert Pattinson was involved in it. He's been doing a bunch of cool stuff lately.
Dude.
I mean, he totally avoided being typecast as the Twilight guy. So
Yeah.
happy
Yeah.
to see some of the cool stuff he's done. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree, dude. So he's done Lighthouse. He's done, I think it's Damsel. So he does an incredible American accent. There's just a scene, you Google Damsel, and it's Robert Pattinson, and he's just like talking to this lady and just this crazy American accent that you never guessed that he was British. And he also did Good Time, which was an incredible movie
Yeah.
too, which I was a huge fan of. But that guy was the director of it, was the director, the editor, and he played the mentally disabled son. I don't know if you knew that or not.
No,
In Good Time, yeah, he edited,
that's
directed.
good
that.
range.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was a really low budget film, but it turned out like it was a crazy story. I was a huge fan of that.
Yeah, that's why the same guys that did Uncut Gems, right?
I have no idea.
The Safdie brothers. Yeah,
Is it, dude?
I guess they've been putting out some fire. I'm pretty sure it is.
A24 too. A24 is awesome.
Yes,
Like I don't know who's behind that, but they're doing awesome shit too.
I've gotten huge into so I for some reason I never really put it together until I saw another movie TikToker do best A24 A24, I don't know which pronunciation is, movies, and I was like, oh, all of these are awesome. And then I looked up the production company and started researching them a bit, and they're pretty much disrupting a lot of stuff in Hollywood, and I don't know how they're able to pick so many winners. They don't win every time. I saw Mr. Tusk wasn't very good.
Yeah.
So that one, not to throw shade at it, but for the most part, though, it's a crazy studio, and pretty much they just are able to go in and pick, I guess, indie movies and give them a bunch of freedom and distribution that they wouldn't normally get. But it's really cool to see what they're doing. I like their style, and hopefully they'll keep being a powerhouse and moving up.
Yeah. Do you like do you like Nicolas Cage?
So I'm not a Nicolas Cage hater. I feel like
Okay.
it's like kind of like Nickelback here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know about, like, Canadians have this thing where like a lot of people love Nickelback, but tons of people, it's like cool to hate on it. I feel like Nicolas Cage is kind of in the same boat.
Yeah.
Like, he's definitely done some stinkers, don't get me wrong, but
Right.
I like a few of them. Like I liked Matchstick Men.
Mhm.
I don't know if you've seen that movie.
Yeah. Sam
I
Rockwell.
thought that was solid. You know, what are your thoughts on him?
So I think he's outstanding, dude. So he'll do crazy. He just gives it his all. Like every single time, you're gonna get at least enthusiasm with Nicolas Cage. And so I really like Matchstick Men. That was amazing. National Treasure, awesome. He did really well in that. And then there's a really good movie. I don't know if you like sci-fi fantasy, but it was the most bizarre, weird.
Mandy?
Yes, it was Mandy. Mandy was crazy.
I haven't
dude.
seen it. It's on my list though. That one looks really good.
It's crazy, man. It's like this bizarre fantasy. It's twisted. It's weird. It's like, it's an emotional ride, and then you get Nicolas Cage's emotion too, where he did really, really well in it, man. So I really enjoyed it because it was something completely different, and it wasn't monotonous. You know, superhero movies, like the good guy wins, all this stuff, like no spoiler or anything, but like it was just something that broke the mold of like what you think a movie's supposed to be, especially that one. Like, it was cool.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, he's a movie star for a reason. I think people forget that sometimes about like the really big guys, because it's easy to hate on them. Tom Cruise gets it too, but I mean, these guys made it to where they are for a reason. Like, they're capable of being performers and pulling people into the movies and buying in on what they make. So
Yeah.
it's cool to see. Do you have a favorite movie?
Of Nicolas Cage or just all time?
We'll go all time.
All time?
That's a tough question.
That's really tough, but
Hope you got it.
I really like heist movies. So I like The Town. The Town is one of my favorite like heist movies, and that's one that's like leaving HBO soon, so I like watched it real quick because I knew it was leaving, and so that's the freshest in my mind. But yeah, I like The Town. The Town was good as a heist movie, but like, it's really tough, dude.
Yeah, I know. This is the kind of question too, when you think about it later, then you'll be like, oh wait, how could I not bring up this movie or that movie? But
Yeah.
pretty offensive it too. I really like Kids, if you've seen that movie. Came out in the 90s, but it was super controversial when it came out, but it was just like, it was one of the movies that kind of like had me bought in as a movie fan, and just completely want to tell everybody that I knew about it. But it was just this crazy story about kids living in New York City during the height of the AIDS epidemic, and just, it was about like skateboard culture, hip hop at the time, kind of everything all coming into one. So that one's up there. And then The Talented Mr. Ripley. Everybody slept on that one. I feel like that one's an amazing movie.
See,
You got to add it to your list.
yeah, I'll add that one. I've seen bits of it, but I haven't seen it all the way through. That's Jude Law and Damon.
Matt Damon, yeah.
Yeah. Talented Mr. Ripley.
Yeah. Yeah. Jude Law is just so cool in it, and I don't know. I thought it was crazy. People never bring it up though that much. I kind of like forgot about it, I guess, when it came out, but I really like that one. So I added it in a TikTok fairly recently, but maybe I'll have to sneak it in again just to give it some more promo.
Was Kids one of the, you had what was it, growing up movies or best movies about growing up?
Yeah, it was like powerful movies about teenagers.
Yeah, okay.
That one, then I had Coming of Age.
Coming of Age,
as well.
That's it. Yeah, that's the one I remember.
Yeah.
And it was like Stand By Me. Was Stand By Me in there? Or was
Yeah,
that? Okay,
you got it. I know Stand By Me, I struggled with it because I was like, everybody knows it's a coming of age, but it's so good, and it's such a defining, timeless coming of age movie, so I had to add it in there. But I had a few others, like mid-90s and Moonlight, I thought were kind of not as, well, they're still really well known, but maybe not, people don't put them in as like all-time great coming of age movies, but I think that they are amazing movies as well, so those ones, yeah.
Yeah, I liked Moonlight. It was just something I didn't know what it was going into it. So it was just like, oh, dude, this is an insane story.
Yeah,
I
had
had
the same thing. It's good to go on blind.
Yeah,
For a lot
I
of
agree.
movies. The trailer kind of screws it up sometimes, unfortunately.
Yeah. or they tell the whole thing, or they leave in the coolest parts. That's some of the worst parts of like trailers. I watch them and like I talk about them, but like it ruins some of it too. Like Guardians of the Galaxy, I jumped in, had no idea what it was, and it was like one of the best superhero movies I'd seen for a while. And it's just like blind. And yeah, Moonlight was blind. What would be one movie that you could go back and see for the very first time? Like you go back in time, go see it again.
That's tough. I've seen a lot of people. That's like a pretty popular trend on TikTok right now. I've seen a lot of people put out. It's like I would do anything to go back and see. I was thinking about it just actually earlier today, and it's tough. Like so I don't know, to see it the first time. And are you seeing it at the same age when you saw it the first time, or you're seeing it now but you've just never seen it before?
It might mean something different to you if you saw it at a different age. So same age.
That's exactly it. Same age you are now. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I might have to get back to you on that one. Mm-hmm. That's a tough question.
It's really tough.
Shutter. I actually loved Shutter Island when I watched that one in the theater, and I love the twist in it.
Yes.
It's I mean, it's classic, good psychological thriller, and big Leo fan, obviously. Who isn't? It's one of the best in the game today. But that one, I really enjoyed. I had a great time in the theater and got sucked into it. Oh, Hereditary too. Hereditary is probably one of my favorite scary movies. Not a fan of it?
No, I haven't seen it. No, I haven't seen it yet. So that's A24 again, isn't it?
What's that?
Is that A24? I'm pretty sure that's A24 too.
That's A24.
I'll do that.
It was funny though. Whenever I bring that one up, people are so split on it. People love it, and then people will say that they're not into it. A lot of scary movies are like that, horror and terror movies.
Yeah.
People are so personal on them. They're like, oh, that's not scary. This is scary. But to me, Hereditary is one of the best. I mean, if you like other A24 movies, you'll probably like Hereditary too. But that one, I watched it alone in my apartment at night with the lights off, and it freaked me out. I had to pause it for a bit and watch Family Guy before I could go back again, which I like. Damn. I love that feeling of you're just being rocked by a scary movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So when it stays with you, like you're in the shower the next day and you're like, damn, worried.
Yeah, that's when I know I got a good one. And sometimes they're not perfect. I mean, I've seen scary movies where at the end I'm like, I don't know if I was fully about that, but then I know it's good if 2 days later I'm going down to the basement to get something and I get a little freaked out. Then I'm like, okay, it did its job. It stayed with me.
Yep. So I really like Shutter Island. I really like also when like there's like it's not always a pleasant story, or the good guy loses, or it doesn't work the right way, or there's no resolution. That's kind of postmodern, but I still enjoy it sometimes just because it's not, first, second, third act end,
Yeah, definitely. And it's weird. I hate it when people get upset if maybe you're watching a movie with somebody and they're like, well, what does that ending mean? It's like not all endings have to tie a complete end to everything. Sometimes it's just that's where the movie kind of brings you in, and then when it leaves you. So it doesn't have to be, oh, it's all tied up at the end. We know where everything's going. So those movies are cool, and then they kind of leave you in this kind of a little bit of a tortured state, but in a good way because it's had an impact.
Right. Also, like where there's not outward exposition where it's like, I'm a proud father. Like it's just like there's actual things shown as like either he's a good character or he's admirable. So here's an example with, have you ever seen Kiss Kiss Bang Bang with Robert Downey Jr.? One of my favorite Robert Downey Jr. movies of all time.
No, I think I saw it maybe when it first came out, but if I'm thinking of it right, but not enough that I know it well.
So Key and Peele have a joke with it. It's where Val Kilmer was like on his downslope, but almost at the best point. And then Robert Downey Jr. was on his upslope and they met in the middle at Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. And it's like it's a murder mystery private eye, almost kind of like Shutter Island posed to be, but it's also comedic. But they use this scene where Robert Downey Jr., it shows he's a good guy, where there's this girl and she's actually been like murdered, but she has like a dress and it's a revealing dress. The dress is pulled up too far and he just pulls it down to show respect to the lady. And it's like, oh, that's a point where it shows versus like, I care about women,
Right. It's the little subtle things too that make those movies great.
Yeah.
The kind of things that they don't have to be loud and in your face, but you're kind of just like, oh.
Yeah.
It kind of just like hits you, or little things that all come together in different ways and stuff like that. Yeah, it's really cool to see. Those kind of movies can really that's what gets you fired up about movies. I mean, that's what it is, right?
Yeah. And it doesn't treat the audience as like just, I don't know, layman. It's like you kind of watch it and it's like it's telling a story. It's not just spoon feeding a story.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to do a little bit of work as a viewer, and it's not a bad thing. But
I just watched not Casino Royale, Bad Times at El Royale. It was. Have you ever seen it?
Yeah.
That's one of my
Yeah, I saw
favorite
that
movies of all time, dude. It's so good.
Yeah, solid performances all around. And another one, I kind of like how that movie unfolds. You get like a little bit of piece here or there, and then you get a little bit over there, and it's all kind of wrapped up with a really crazy ending. So I enjoyed that one too.
Yeah. What's one you're either? What's up?
No, sorry.
What's one you're looking forward to coming out?
I don't know. There's a few. I'm blanking on. There's one in particular. It's a little bit of a cheesy answer, but what was the? I don't know why I'm blanking on the title right now. Not The Silence. Do you remember Bird Box came out, and then there was another movie that came right after where there was you couldn't make any noise.
Quiet Place.
A Quiet Place. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. That movie, the sequel to that one, I am down actually to see very much. I enjoyed that movie a lot.
Dude.
And it might not be like the most. Yeah. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
You liked it as well. I thought it was pretty crazy. I enjoyed it. I was excited to see where the story's going to go. I'm hoping it lives up. Sequels, you never know, right? But
that's one bad thing. Cool. Yeah. So that was directed by John Krasinski and then written by him too. Like that was outstanding. And there were so many elements that were just minute details, but showed that there was a lot of thought as well. That's what I appreciate too with that, like the sand or the play pieces, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, and especially there's a lot of I don't know. There's a lot of bad end of the world movies, post-apocalypse movies that I've seen come out. It's like I guess it had a little boom where there was just a ton of content coming out from it. And when I can see one that's really well done, I love that style, that genre of movie. So I get excited from that, and I thought that one was really well done. So yeah, we'll see what they're gonna do about it, but. I gotta see. I'm sure there's a bunch that I don't even know that aren't even on my radar.
Yeah.
Because I've been focusing more on stuff that's already out or different movies that I want to add to lists. But I'll have to check it out. Maybe I'll do a little TikTok of movies that are going to come out after the thing.
Dude, you should.
Steal the idea from you.
No, dude, go ahead. I'm not going to do it. But
have you dabbled in TikTok at all?
So what I usually do, I just take clips of my podcast and put them up. And I've done like the question with movie I could go back to and see for the first time. So I did like The Departed. Shutter Island was it was on the list, but I don't think I used it. And then Signs was on there, and I can't remember.
Signs is a good one, yeah.
Yeah, like
I would like to see that one the first time too.
Dude, yeah, I used to live next to a cornfield. Like it was just 360-degree cornfield, and I was probably 8 years old when the fucker came out, and it was intense, dude. It was so cool. Yeah,
that would be wild. That was before M. Night Shyamalan kind of went downhill a little bit when he was putting out still really solid movies.
So, do you know Norm Macdonald? He's a comedian?
No, I don't.
Okay, so he had an interview with M. Night, and he was talking to M. Night, and he's like, hey, so the process of you making these pieces of art, like you're on the up and coming when you're making Signs, and so you're still trying to prove yourself. You weren't M. Night yet. And you were working really, really hard, and you had the crew, and you had everybody come together, and you directed perfectly, and you executed with Mel Gibson to create this entire great piece of thing that is iconic that we're still talking about today.
Right.
And he's like, so how do you think there's a period in time where artists just have that 1, 2, 3 moments where it's just like you nail it, and then now that you're satisfied or you're you have comfort of being M. Night or the notorious M. Night, you kind of slack. And so he was like, yes, that has happened. I put up my own money for the movie that was coming up. I think it was Girl in the Water or Lady in the Water. He changed
Lady in the Water, yeah.
He put up all of his own money. He got an entire different crew, and he just did several elements and just tried to create the exact same scenario of him being young, trying to make it for himself, and put so much risk in there to create that pressure.
Yeah. good for him for being able to stay on top.
Yeah.
But I guess those ones, that one and The Village, both got pretty bad, poor reviews in relation to his other movies. But it's got to be tough. I don't know how you would to say you kind of would. I would assume want to recreate that same type of energy from the earlier movies. That would be probably blocking your creativity a bit and giving you a little bit of a narrow-sighted approach to making the movie, which is probably what made the other ones like Sixth Sense and Signs amazing. So
Yeah.
I don't know. That's cool though. I'd want to listen to that interview.
It was really cool. I'll send it to you. I'll make a note. Hold on.
Yeah, shoot it over. Was looking for different stuff. It's cool to see the different sides of it too, because you can get blocked in just looking at the movies themselves, but when you can hear the people involved with the work actually talking about it, gives you a whole new appreciation for it.
I know. So that's one thing I tried to take into account. Like whenever I'm about to say this movie's bad, I'm like, God damn, people are feeding their families doing this. And it's like they've spent years doing it, and I just try so hard not to like be awful. But if it's bad, it's like,
yeah,
it's hard to say like it was good,
You know what? That's really that's a cool thing though. For your shows your personality, I think, though, to not want to tear, because some people go out and it's just their mission to tear people's works down and stuff like that. It's like, at the end of the day, yeah, maybe it wasn't for you, but somebody cared enough that they put a lot of time, energy, and money into it. So I've thought about before, making lists of like movies, worst movies on Netflix or stuff like that, which aren't bad, but I'm like you, I'm torn because I don't want to go down that road. Kind of, I think it's just negative, sort of, and they're also really subjective. So who am I, right? I haven't made any movies.
Right.
I definitely haven't made big movies. So how could I possibly speak on saying that they're terrible, even if they might not be that good to me?
Right. Or it could get so like that video could just be so popular, and you're like, oh, dude, I regret doing that. I don't want to do another video like that. But then you're more inclined because it's so popular, and you're like, oh, should I just do one more? And then you're like, oh man, am I the bad movie guy? Like, you don't want to do that.
Yeah, I kind of got that a little bit. I did one about Super Size Me, because some information came out about Morgan Spurlock, that he was actually an alcoholic during the movie. And I put it out. I was kind of mixed on it too, because it was sort of knocking it down. But I tried to at least sprinkle in, hey, I still think that this is like a really iconic documentary. I think it threw something in. Like, it's still obviously very influential, big deal, but it is something to consider going into it. But I kind of was playing with fire a little bit on that one.
Yeah.
Kind of exposing it a little bit, but also thought it was a cool story. So
yeah, God, dude, that was iconic. Like, that was like the first documentary that I can think of that like just sticks out and gets into like popular culture. It talks about McDonald's, like.
Oh yeah, I don't know if it was like it in the States as well, but here, like, they would show it in classes all the time. Like, you would see it in your gym and for like the health unit, you would see it in the science class. Like, teachers would just love pulling out Super Size Me when they were tired of talking, I guess.
Yeah, they were just hungover.
Yeah, exactly.
They put the TV.
But nothing's perfect, I guess. But yeah, I mean, kudos to him for being able to get out there in that way, though. I watched this other documentary about rats. I don't know if you've seen that one.
No.
So the same guy, but if you ever want to be creeped out, he did a really good one, kind of exposing how big of a problem rat infestations are, especially in cities like New York. And it was disgusting. I think it might have been in my docs that will traumatize you list, because I was traumatized when I watched it. I got freaked out from rats and that one too. So solid documentary, but again, can't ignore the fact there's a little bit of information that was not presented to the viewer. So that's where I went with that one.
And I think that's fair, because I think documentaries are so compelling, and it's like it's the most influential media, because there's no pushback. So they write this narrative and they put forth all the evidence, and then you ride on this ride for 2 hours, and then you're like, man, I guess I'm gonna be vegan now, like, or whatever, like just stuff like that. And it's so compelling, but then it's like, well, that percentage is not right, and then eating eggs is not like smoking, like stuff like that. And it's somewhat emotionally charged too. Like, they'll do just a horrible story. So I don't like that manipulation. I like a little bit of manipulation, or at least a compelling story that's also true, but not, to push something that's just what they want.
Yeah, I know exactly the feeling you're talking about,
Yeah.
and it sounds like you can pick up on it probably pretty easy too. You've seen a lot of documentaries and movies, but when you start feeling like, okay, this is really one-sided, and you're feeling that it's deliberately trying to manipulate your emotions, that's one of the things that'll make me kind of turn away from documentary. It's like kind of like you feel like you're being lied to, even if they are just telling the facts. Because with too much of that one-sided approach, that can be a really big bummer as a viewer, I think.
Yeah.
Especially as someone, if you've watched a lot of documentaries, you can start to spot those.
Yeah. There's just like there's telltale signs, and I don't know exactly what they are. It's just like, you're like, okay, I've seen this. Bell, hold on.
Yeah.
You know, you can just see it. And you're just like, oh, okay. But then it brings me back to like, what have I seen that I didn't know this beforehand, that I was younger? And then like, do I believe any of that stuff too? That like I've taken with me, you know?
Yeah, subconsciously, especially there's so many like the big documentaries that are able to kind of stay in people's psyche throughout the years. Sure, Super Size Me was like that. And obviously Blackfish had a huge impact as well. The one about kind of the mistreatment of the whales at SeaWorld. So they have a big power. They can change the world with a powerful enough documentary. And that's another really cool part about it, but it's also kind of like dangerous in some aspects too, that it could be used kind of negatively to influence stuff. But that's all their right? They can put out a documentary about whatever. It's up to the viewer at the end of the day.
Yeah. And Netflix is super powerful with that, because I would say, was it 70% of, well, this would be United States, I'm guessing, have a Netflix account. So you get one documentary, they push it to the very top. The narrative has changed. Yeah. That's compelling, especially, there's a lot, like they say they're just a curation platform, but there's a lot of responsibility sometimes with that.
Yeah, the mega streaming sites, Disney Plus, I'm sure will be in that same realm soon enough, because they're growing really fast. But Netflix, I mean, yeah, exactly what you said. The way their algorithm is kind of set up to put things right at the top of it almost hides, it seems like, some content from you, where you have to go digging to find some other stuff, where it really props up some stuff. And I mean, if you get a documentary big enough, it's going to blow up and completely change what the public is talking about. I mean, even ones as kind of crazy as Tiger King, people went insane at Carole Baskin, or Making a Murderer is another one. I think that really brought false confessions to light. And I mean, you had huge celebrities involved trying to get these guys out of jail. Like, it's crazy to see what they can do. But yeah, Netflix definitely does prop up stuff, and other stuff doesn't get the same limelight, which makes sense, I guess. They're trying to cater to their viewers in whatever way.
Yeah. Has this been your first podcast?
This is my first podcast. Yeah.
Dude, you've done incredible,
man.
Tell? No, you excellent. Do you listen?
Thank you. Yeah, I listen to podcasts all the time.
Okay, so yeah, and so you like watch. Well, you watch Medium, or watch a media or Medium before, and you can kind of pick up rhetoric too. But like, obviously, like you've done awesome, dude, for real.
Well, thank you. Hey, have me back on whenever you like. I'd be happy to come on again in the future. But yeah, no, I was really excited when you reached out to me, because yeah, being a big fan of podcasts from my regular day job before everything went off, I did a ton of driving to go see different customers, and so I was big Joe Rogan, Joey Diaz, New York Times, The Daily, Caller Daddy too. I had to get a little bit of side learning in there too.
Yeah.
But just even going in to some of the stories, like there was a really good Jeffrey Epstein podcast series that I listened to, so I'm excited to watch the Netflix doc about it now too.
Oh, dude, it's gross. I've watched it. It's so weird.
It's bad.
Yeah, well, it's not bad, but it's just gross. It's just like, dude, this is weird. Not a fit. Well, it's good, but like, it's just like, makes you uneasy.
That's how I felt about Leaving Neverland. I don't know if you've seen that one.
Hated that documentary.
It's a tough watch.
I hated it, dude. They were trying to. That was the emotional manipulation of that. That was that thing, man. I could not stand it.
Yeah, that one was tough. Surviving R. Kelly. It's
Didn't
another
watch
one. I
that
don't know if
one.
you've seen that one.
Did not watch that one.
Any of the ones, the big ones about the sex offenders can get, they can be pretty difficult to watch and keep you up in that a bit, but they're
Yeah.
crazy.
Will you move
But back to that, yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, just going back to, about it being really cool. I'm appreciative coming on the podcast.
Absolutely, dude. Will you listen to Joe when he moves to Spotify? I don't know which.
Yeah, I'm
you?
glad that you brought that up too. I think that you had a video about that, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Joe moved to Spotify. Yeah, I first brought it to my radar actually from that.
Yeah.
And then I went down kind of like a little rabbit hole about him leaving. I don't have Spotify. I'm one of those nerds that has Apple Music for some reason. So I'd have to switch to that, and I have all my music on that right now. So I don't know. I'm kind of bummed about it. It's still a while before he fully switches, right?
End of the year. He'll move. It'll be simultaneous platforms of YouTube starting September, but then it'll be exclusive to Spotify.
I definitely think it's good that he's leaving YouTube, because you can see in so many of the podcasts him kind of griping about how YouTube, we can't play that because YouTube's going to ban us, or I don't know if we can go into that because YouTube. So that part's cool, because I think what he's doing is amazing, and he should have as much freedom as he wants to put on. But we'll see how it goes, though. Hopefully, because he's big on, I don't want to have any big corporate stuff influencing how I make my shows, right? So, I mean, how could it not influence him in some ways, though, when he's getting that big of a check? Was it like $100 million or something?
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
I think he'll have more artistic freedom, but it's going to be hard for him not to like worry about Spotify. But maybe that's in the contract. I don't know. But I did the numbers. So it was last year, and he talked about his download rate. And so it was 190 million downloads a month. He does about 20 podcasts a month. So he's got about 11 million subscribers. So let's say 45% of those subscribers say, all right, I don't want to leave what I'm doing right now, but he has his own platform. So he brings 45% over. That's like, and they all pay $15 for a subscription service. It's his own service. So he gets to say whatever he wants. It's his own platform, whatever. And then he doesn't have to worry about the Spotify or the, all that. But then that equals out to about $75 million a month. And then that equals almost $1 billion a year.
That is crazy.
Isn't that crazy? So 45%, let's say under half. And so I don't know why he doesn't make his own platform then. But maybe he doesn't
that's a good point too. I think he just, probably a big part of it too. I know he talks about a lot that he doesn't like spend a lot of time on the business side of things.
Yeah.
He seems very anti-corporate. So I think if he was going to do that, he'd really have to step up to the plate and devote a lot of time that he would want to use on his athletic pursuits or his comedy career to building a platform and all the infrastructure and support that would take. So maybe that's why, but it's a compelling argument on your side for sure.
Yeah.
The money would be there, but I guess it's not about the money for him too. He's already doing quite well. But for me, I would go for the check, but that's just me. So
$1 billion. $1 billion is $1 billion. That's crazy to me. Yeah. Especially with that platform, like just under half too. It's like, that's an ungodly number. Like, whoa.
I'm really curious at how much it costs for the advertising to get on, even just right now. Did you come across that at all in your research? It's got to be. I mean, the reach that they can get, even though a lot of people fast forward, me including the ads, they still, if he brings up something in the show, sales spike like crazy. So it's got to be expensive.
They do parts per thousand. So like it'd be parts per thousand, and it'd be 11 million. So it'd be parts per thousand, $30 per thousand or something. I haven't done that math, but it'd be a lot still. And he's still going to run those ads, I believe, on Spotify. I think.
We'll see, I guess.
Yeah.
But I thought the ads would all change when he would flip over, because he's got pretty consistent sponsors.
Mm-hmm. Like, what is it? Square or something? He's got
Squarespace.
Yeah, like stuff like
that.
He's
been going to bat for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I skip past most of them anyways, but I know they're not, I guess we're prime examples that it's not sticking in our heads as much as we thought, but there's definitely a few you're like, okay, he's doing the same stuff. The Cash App.
Cash
That's
App,
another
that's
one
it.
he always brings up. I mean, that's got to massively help their brand recognition.
Oh yeah,
So
dude.
there's got to be crazy money coming in.
And then
That's the goal, right? For the podcast.
yeah,
You gotta get this.
well, the movement watches got complete steam from him too. Like movement watches, do you MVMT? Those watches oh my god, those blew up. They went through a whole bunch of podcasts. They also used Facebook too, but they made an entire brand through his podcast. Well, debatable, but
it's hilarious one of his first ever sponsors was the flashlight.
yes. Yeah.
It's come such a long way, so
Yeah, dude.
I don't know. You can tell he never thought it was going to be how it is now.
No, he just wanted his own radio station. He was just like, I'll do it. It went in his house. If you ever look at the old videos, he's just on his couch. It's really weird.
Oh yeah. And he just became so much more articulate and bringing in just such a wide range of guests. There was one that I watched early on with, do you know Hamilton Morris at all for Vice? He works for Vice. Probably not. It's just like
dark-haired guy or brown.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah, I know him.
That's the guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, he had him on in a really early one, Hamilton Morris, and it was just like it was such a pretty much a garbage interview. And I think Joe was just really baked during it, but I was like, that would never fly now. And he had him on years later when he had built it up pretty much to what it is today, and the interview was a million times better. So it's crazy to see. But what kind of podcast inspired you to start yours?
I really like Joe, and then so he introduced me to a whole bunch of different authors. So that's where I saw the value in podcasting and like the ability to listen to it when you're driving, like, or listen to that. Just you can take it with you wherever you want. You can listen to it at any time you want. It's just a medium that's like I use almost every single day. So I was like, I don't know. I tried to start one when I was in college. That fizzled out. And then I started one after I graduated, probably a couple years after that. And then started this one too. So I was just like, I always wanted to do it, always absorbed it. It was always fun to me, and it helped me grow a lot. So that's why I started one. And it was Joe it was probably Joe, and then yeah, I would say he was the first one for sure.
Yeah, it's really cool. I thought about it too, because I like the idea of it. You just get to have a conversation with someone. It kind of like motivates you to talk about stuff that maybe you wouldn't normally, but you're still in that conversation mode, and it's pretty free. Like I even asked you, I remember before this, I was like, "Oh, do you need me to prepare anything?" And you're like, "Oh, we'll just go into it." So I was like, "Sounds perfect." It's loose and it's easy going for both sides, so you can really dive into different topics without feeling like pressure to say everything perfect kind of deal.
Yeah, and there's no rigidity. Like if I said, "Hey, we're going to talk about this." It'd be like, "Oh man, that's going to start off clunky, and then it'd be a totally different path than what we took this time."
Yeah, we can have good flow that way. Good flow back and forth. But that's cool though. And I see you've got solid audio equipment too.
Yeah.
At least that one, it sounds coming through really, really crisp and nice on that. But how much did it cost to kind of get off the ground?
So it depends what you want to do. So I have 2 microphones here. So in case I have people that come in live, like here, so it just depends. So it's double of what it is, but this is a $400 mic, and then a boom. It's about $100. And then you got the mixer, the cords. Because like the mixer is important, so I can get your audio, this audio, and if I wanted to play something on my television, we could listen to it. That's why I like the mixer.
Right.
So it could all play it
That's
simultaneously.
Did you go to school for anything like that? Like
No, taught myself.
Taught. That's the way to do it. And pretty much you can go in with YouTube, and I gotta assume YouTube was probably like a big help on it.
Oh my God, yeah. So I asked a bunch of people too, like people that have YouTube videos, and I'd just be like, okay, so does this mixer work with this mic? And they would help me a lot too. Or like you just have to Google it, or you have to learn what hertz are, or like whatever, infinity floor. It's just, you just learn along the way, And it's just like you come into a problem, impediment, and you're like, all right, cool. So this sucks. How do I figure this out? You just Google it.
Yeah. That's a cool way. It's a good bonus of today. Wow. I've been thinking about it, even for the TikToks, even bringing in some kind of a better mic. Because sometimes my voice comes through really strange on it. So I tried it with the headphones at first, and that was a little bit better. But I feel like it's awkward to have the headphones like this. But I'm thinking about maybe like a little tiny mic for the videos, maybe.
Well, you could get a lav mic that could hook up to your phone. but it would be a little bit more editing, a little bit, but not a whole lot, and then that would sound pretty good. Or you could get like a Blue Yeti. A Blue Yeti is through the USB port on your computer, though. I don't know if you record with your phone or.
Yeah, using my phone right now, but I think that's mostly just out of being lazy for not wanting to transfer back and forth. But I could easily switch it over, and that would probably help it out.
But they have a lavalier too. It's got the auxiliary port. I don't know. You have the iPhone, so I don't know if the iPhone has the auxiliary port still. I can't remember.
No, it's a Lightning.
Oh, okay, so you'd just have to get a Lightning port, I think, with your lavalier, and then it should help. You just clip it to whatever your jacket.
Maybe that'll take me to the next level.
Dude, audio will
See
help.
how it goes.
If you notice it and it bothers you, just test it. It's a lavalier is like $20-$30, so
yeah, it's not that much at all.
You just return it if you don't like it.
Maybe I can get some kind of if I shout it out, maybe I can get a deal from them or something.
I would. Why not? Be like, hey, yeah, like I'm gonna use this on my TikToks, and if anybody asks me, I'm gonna use it, or I'll tell them. You do that.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe I'll DM them or something if I can find them on something.
Mm-hmm.
See how it goes on that side. Have you seen The Last Dance sort of switch over? It just crossed through my head.
Last Dance
on Netflix. The Last Dance, the Michael Jordan doc.
So no, I heard about the episode with Rodman where he was like, we're gonna lose Rodman if he's going to Las Vegas. Like, he just can't go to Las Vegas.
Yeah, that was the best one.
Yeah, like I've heard that one, and it's compelling, but I just haven't seen it yet because it's like 10 hours or something like that too, and it's is it on ESPN?
It's a long series, yeah. It's on Netflix, yeah.
Oh, Netflix? Okay.
But yeah, that one's really, really good. I'm not like a huge basketball fan by any means, but I was still completely bought into it. It just gets you fired up to be a winner, basically. But yeah, the Dennis Rodman one, I went on a little Dennis Rodman YouTube spree after because I wanted to see just more videos of him partying in the 90s. But he was really wild, so he would have been definitely the most entertaining basketball player to watch.
Oh yeah, like he dated Carmen Electra, who was hot back in the day. He dated her. Like he dated, I think Madonna.
Like,
yeah. Like everybody. He was wild.
If you see interviews of him today, though, it's kind of hard to understand. I think maybe his brain might be a little bit fried from all the partying, but
yeah, he was.
He was on. I was just saying he was on No Jumper. I don't know if you've seen that podcast at all.
I know he has a TikTok. I followed him on TikTok recently.
Dennis Rodman does?
Yeah, dude, he's got a TikTok.
I'll have to check his out. What are they like?
He just does the trends, or like he'll point stuff. You know how they have like he'll have like a title, and then you point stuff like that. He'll do that, and maybe he reuses old clips. I can't remember, but I remember him pointing or being like on a like in an apartment complex or whatever, like a high rise.
Yeah.
But it's like it's new content too. It's not just him playing ball. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's weird to see some of the celebrities that came out and started doing TikToks. Some of them will have their own original kind of like, you can tell that they would maybe be big on TikTok even if they weren't a celebrity, but some of them they're just doing the bare min, but they still get millions of views because obviously they're a celebrity. Not to throw any shade at Justin Bieber.
Yeah, oh my gosh, yeah, he just barely dances, but so some of them, I just look at them, I'm just like, I don't care. Like Reese Witherspoon, she'll like do one, and I'm just like, I don't care. Like, you have this TikTok. Like, it's just not, there's somewhat a little bit more leveling of the playing field, where you can get some more creative, and instead of just your star power, like, this is boring. Like, you're not cool, Reese, like I just don't care as much with the celebrities.
Yeah, I've been missing the same. I like to find TikToks that just when I watch them, I'm like, that is so creative. It's the best ones are like the ideas seem so simple, but they're just so well put together, and just because they're so short, they're just, I don't know. It's a really cool app for seeing what people are. I mean, obviously there's a lot of kind of similar styles or the dancey ones too, which those are cool in their own way. But the ones that I find amazing are just like the ones that are a pure exhibit of creativity, people doing stuff in different ways.
Yeah, it's a totally different platform, totally different piece of art, and you don't have to be like a model on Instagram, like doing the twerk or the booty pose and just get likes. Like there's a little bit more merit to it.
Yeah, and like you said, it's more accessible than any other social media. Like on Instagram, you're never going to get randomly big as just a normal person. You're going to have to work at it to build a following really slowly or be famous and blow it up. But this one, pretty much anybody has a shot. It's super easy to get people in front of your content. And that's really cool. That was one of the biggest parts that I liked about it right away, is just seeing like there is no single type of person that's going to make it. It's like any type of person could get a bunch of views on it. And who knows, there's some talk that there's a lot of bots through it too that manipulate the views or kind of fishy things that are going on with TikTok's algorithm. But for the most part, I think that it's kind of paving the new way for social media. And I mean, you even got guys, I don't know if you see any of them, that are TikToks of people in jail. So they're taking videos on their phone while they're in jail and then putting it on the TikTok. Like stuff like that's just crazy. But all different types.
Yeah, that's weird. That's weird. Who's one of your favorite accounts?
So there's this guy Bowman. It's like
Okay.
Bowmanizer, I think is his TikTok. That's one of my favorites. He's from Toronto too. I don't know him or anything, but he does kind of like just videos of his life, but he'll film them in the same style that they're a reality show.
Okay.
So he's really funny, and he has one that kills me. It's like generic overused movie lines kind of, and he just does like a whole bunch of like just lines that would come from the most basic movies. But that one's really well done. I'm just gonna pull it up quick because I know I'm gonna forget if I don't look at it. A lot of them I follow are just like my friends too, but those ones are really good. A couple movie TikTokers as well. There's one you might want to check out too. Her name's Lindsay's Online.
Okay.
She's from Toronto as well, but she does like a different style of videos. But she's been really nice. I had like questions that I kind of reached out to her when I first started trying to build up my TikTok, and she was awesome about it. So yeah, different stand-up comedians. Purple CDL. I don't know if you've seen him at all. He's another big movie TikToker. Stand-up comedy stuff, like all over. That's what I like. It is not like one split in to one specific type. Like I don't know.
Okay. Lindsay, yeah.
What about you?
I feel like Bowmanizer. I've seen Bowmanizer. I'm pretty sure, dude.
Maybe he's pretty big. I think he's got over 1 million now. Pasha the Boss. I don't know if you've seen that one. He's like this intense parkour / stuntman, and he just does like nutty, crazy little stunts and moves his body in crazy ways. Or Hey Berg. It's the guy that does the like Donald Trump impressions and does different scenarios with Trump and Obama. Those are pretty funny.
So I interviewed one. It's a business or not a business podcast, but a business TikToker. His name is Zaid Admani. It's Admani Explains. He's really good. He does a lot of research with he'll just do different like he'll do like Twitter's IPOs or like the bank fallout, or like just he'll do it in quick 1-minute narratives where he plays both people, or like he'll play, I don't know, the CDC or whatever. He'll just do it in a business oriented way too, though. He'll tell a quick story and you get pretty much the synopsis of whatever problem he's trying to talk about. It's pretty cool if you like the business aspect. If you like the
I'm down with those ones too. I mean, I think the best social media is they provide you value, and those ones provide so much value in education. Humphrey Yang is one. It's Humphrey Talks. It's like similar kind of idea. He does like a lot of different finance stuff, but it's boiled down super interesting. You can pick it up quick, and you actually learn something from it rather than just like mindlessly scrolling through. So those are really cool too. I'll have to check that guy out. I come across too on TikTok, one unfortunate side. It seems to be there's a lot of like fake business gurus trying to sell courses for like how to get rich.
Yeah.
So that you get that with any social media, like somebody in your DMs, hey, are you interested in making $5,000 in 5 days through Bitcoin? And I'm like, no, obviously that's clearly not real.
Right.
So there's a few of those on TikTok too, and it's kind of sad for the people that we get like suckered into buying their stuff when they're just kind of random people with no credentials or anything.
Yeah, I see a lot of traders. Traders will be like, hey, yeah, so I'll give you my exclusive trade signals or whatever if you give me money,
The worst is when they have like a set formula where they come in, it's like flexing the watch, flexing a random house. Probably in a lot of cases, I got to assume it's not their house or it has no relation to the course. And then they'll be like, just immediately pitch to the thing. And then, yeah.
Yeah.
So those are out there too. I mean, that's their hustle, I guess, whatever. But
Yeah.
I just hope that people aren't getting suckered too bad from it.
Yeah. So there was a really good video of this guy talking about traders, and so like the likelihood of becoming a trader and then the probability of you doing it for 2 years and making money is just very, very low. It's like 5% or something like that. So it's like it's just probably not like the best move for a layman person, but you get to see these numbers, or they manipulate the numbers and then they sell the course. So just be wary, I guess.
Yeah, like anything, right? You kind of have to go into with a little grain of salt,
Hmm.
especially for those ones. But yeah, most people can look past them though, and I think it'll be fine.
Hmm. But Liam, I've had a blast. You're always welcome back on the podcast. Is there anything you want to close out with, or anything you're looking forward to, or anything else? You can find you on your
No,
TikTok. Your TikTok handle is it's
yeah, I was just gonna say. Oh, okay, I was gonna say I was like, that's the last thing I'd want, just a little plug of the
yeah,
TikTok handle.
yeah.
That's all I need. Liam Pring. I'm also on Instagram as well. It's linked through the TikTok, so slap me a follow on that one. And I try to respond to almost every comment as long as it's not something ridiculous. So yeah, more movies to come. I'm going to be dropping more as we go on. Thank you so much for having me on. I had a good time. So yeah, pencil me in again. We'll talk down the road. Hopefully it'll keep growing. Hopefully you'll keep growing as well, and we'll catch up and see where we're at then.
All right. Thank you, brother. Until next time.
Take it easy.
Peace.